welcome to Knitting Blooms. Today is Saturday, August 4th, and this is episode number 66. Welcome to the show. Thank you so... Of course. The moment that I start, the dehumidifier decides to kick in. So hang tight 1 second and I'll finish my introduction. Okay, there we go. This is episode number 66, and I'm hoping that that is not a clue as to how this episode is going to go, because that would be bad. My name is Tina, also known as Bloomingknitter, and thank you so much for coming and watching today. I know there's so many podcasts out there, and I so appreciate everybody who takes the time to watch the show each week, and I hope you take the time to get in contact with me with any comments or suggestions that you might have for the show. So, this week I have gotten back to my running. If you've been watching for a while, you know that a couple weeks ago I fell while running and I injured my shoulder and my arm. And I took a week off of running, and I didn't run at all last week, or basically the week before. But I did get back to my running this week. I ran Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I almost got up and ran this morning, but I was just tired, and it was just nice to be able to sleep in today. I had club at my house today, and it's now a little bit after 4 o'clock. And I was hoping that somebody would like to join me, one of the people who come to club, one of my friends who come to club for knitting, but everybody else had other plans for today, so I'm hoping that in the future on club days that somebody will be able to join me on the podcast and share their knitting and what they're working on and their experiences and what have you, because I know that a lot of people have asked for guest stars. I tried to get my husband to get back on the podcast with me today, and he didn't know what to talk about. So maybe I'll just keep bugging him too and try and get him back on the podcast. He doesn't really know what to talk about when he's on the podcast, which is one of the reasons why he did the security guard thing before. But everybody seemed to like that, so he needs to think up another little skit thing that he wants to do before he gets back on the podcast. But I'll keep bugging him, and hopefully one day you'll see him again. So I got back to running. I also this week did one of those downloads to Excel of my yarn stash. And I knew that I had a lot of yarn, and I've done that download before, but it really kind of made me open my eyes a bit that I have a bit of yarn. In fact, I have over 94 miles of yarn. It's like 167,000 yards. Over that. I think it's like 167,400 and some odd, whatever. It's a lot of yardage. So, I've been talking about doing a yarn diet before, and nothing has stuck. But I really need to evaluate what I'm buying and what I'm knitting and try and reduce that stash, or at the very least not make it grow too much more. I've kind of put a limit on it, as I don't want any more than 100 miles of yarn in my stash. So I'm either going to have to start knitting it up quickly, or giving it away, or not buying. And that's going to be a problem, because I buy yarn when I want to buy yarn. So we'll see how it goes. But right now I have 94 miles plus, 94 plus miles, because I think it's like 94 and a half miles of yarn in my stash. And that doesn't even include some of the acrylics that I've purchased for charity knitting, and some of the dishcloth cotton that I have. It also does not include the number 10 crochet cotton that I have to make pot holders with, which I haven't made since I started the podcast, so you might not know what I'm talking about, but I will eventually get back to making those because I really liked them. So, anyway, so my goal is to not exceed 100 miles of yarn in my stash. And like I said, I just have to keep knitting it, working through it, something, because it's getting out of control. So I'm going to have a new feature on the podcast, which is going to be called From the Stash. And I'm going to pick out of yarn to show you each week, and I will do that after I get through all of my knitting progress and spinning progress this week. And do you know what? I'm going to have to pause for one moment because I don't have my finished object right here with me. I brought it down, but it's over there in that bag, so hang tight for one moment, please. Okay, I had planned, I'm hoping that the color is okay. I feel like I'm very washed out today with the lighting. Maybe that will help a little bit. Anyway, I had planned on doing a bit of a, now I'm looking at myself and it's all cockeyed. Anyway, I had planned on doing a bit of a end weaving in project this morning at club, but I got to knitting and then I was spinning for a bit and I totally forgot about it. So I don't have the ends woven in on this project or my other 3 finished objects that I've shown over the last few months. It's crazy, but maybe I will get to that this afternoon if I can pull myself away from my sweater. But I have a finished object, and it is called the Color Affection. It is humongous. It blocked out quite nicely. In fact, I didn't even put blocking wires in it. I just laid it out on the bed. And if you want to see how it looked when it was blocking, you can check my Ravelry page. But I wet it, I soaked it like I do all my projects, and I laid it out on the bed and let it dry. But look how huge it is. It is way past my wingspan, and it keeps going and going and going. It's humongous. I put it on once, but I haven't figured out how I'm going to wear it. It can be used as a big scarf around the neck. It can be used as a wrap. It's quite long. I'm thinking I would like to try and figure out a way to be able to wrap it around and around, kind of, so it goes over my shoulder. I haven't played with it enough to figure that out, and it is so long. I'm also thinking, I have a piece of cat hair in my mouth. How I got cat hair in my mouth, I don't know. But I have thought about wearing it like a scarf, like around kind of like this, and then around like this. I'm not real sure. You know, Diane, she's always so funny. She puts it on, puts her shawls on, and she has such trouble with it. Typically, I don't have trouble figuring out how to wear it. But this one I'm struggling with a little bit because it is so big. But I love it. It's big. It's awesome. It's beautiful. I don't know how I'm going to wear it yet, but I will figure it out. It can't be that difficult because with how many color affections have been knit? I don't know, like over 3,000. Somebody has to know how to wear this thing. So it's huge, it's big, I love it, and I definitely will be making at least one more of these. I think they would make great gifts for somebody because it's not that much yarn, really. I did break into the second skein of the gray and the second skein of the black. I did not break into the second skein of the pink already. The pink. I had two. This is Knit Pick Stroll. Knit Pick Stroll Glimmer. And I had two skeins of each because I believe that the pattern calls for, now I don't know how many yards it calls for, but it calls for like, say 420 yards or something to that effect. Of each color, and I believe that the Knit Picks Stroll Glimmer comes in 50 grams, and I think there's 220 yards maybe, or 210. I'm not quite sure what the yardage is, and I don't have my thing here. But I did break into the second ball of the gray and the black, but the pink I had, I would guess probably about 1.5 yards of the pink left over from the first ball, and I didn't even break into the second ball at all. So I'm not real sure what I'm going to do with the leftovers of it. I might just make preemie hats. I might try and make myself a pair of stripy socks with the leftover, because I do have primarily the pink, and then I have about 1/2 skein of the black and about 1/2 skein of the gray. So technically, between all the colors, I have more than enough for a pair of socks. If I do a stripy sock, which I might do, then I will have matching socks to go with my color Affection, which would be very cool. But there it is. It looks so awesome. This is the beginning part with all the short rows, and then the short rows go into the second section, and then they go down, and then it just ends with the black at the bottom. So it is beautiful. I have to weave in the ends, and I have to figure out how to wear this big monstrosity of a shawl. But I love it, and I'm sure that I will figure out how to wear it. It's just a matter of playing with it. I think when I took it off of the bed after it was dry, I took it off of the bed, I put it up to block Wednesday night, and it was dry by Thursday morning. I left the fan on in the room, and it was dry Thursday morning, and I picked it up before work, and I kind of just threw it on, tried it on a little bit, but I couldn't figure out how to wear it, and then I put it in the bag for me to weave in the ends, and that was the last time I saw it until right now. So it's just going to be a matter of playing with it and figuring out exactly how I'm going to wear it. So, let me see, where can I put this so the cats don't get it. Excuse me. So that is my color Affection shawl, and I love it. If I didn't say that already about 6 times. The next project is my work in progress. It's the only other work in progress that I have this week. I worked on the Inishbeg sweater briefly at Knit Club, but I think I got like 4 rows done, and it wasn't even worth showing you. I did some spinning today at Knit Club, and I also worked on this, which is my summer solstice shawl. And here is my progress. I was right at that marker last week, and I finished the second chart. I think it's the second chart. Nope, it's the third chart. Because the first chart was the beading, and then there was this section here that was the second chart, and then this is the third chart. And I did do the pattern does give you an option for an additional repeat. So I did go ahead and do the additional repeat because my friend Margaret gave me her leftover of the same colorway. She actually bought this yarn, 2 skeins of this turquoise marquise or something like that. She bought it from Woolmiza. She bought 2 skeins and decided that she only needed 1, so I bought the other skein from her. And she gave me her leftover. So I think they're going to be pretty close in colorway because they were done at the same time. And if I need it, because I did add an extra repeat total for the body. So I think I have 18 repeats across, or something to that effect. And then I added an extra section here as well. Where did my marker go? And the extra section was pretty much just like 4 rows, you know, up here. So I will be able to start the next chart, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I have to download it to my iPad and set it up on Knit Companion, and then I can go forward. That's one of the reasons why I stopped after I finished this chart, because at club, because I didn't have the next chart downloaded, and I have to set it up. So it's coming along great. I have made a couple of mistakes, but I've been able to kind of fudge it to make it work. I know a couple times I put the yarn overs in the wrong place, but that was real easy to move it over to a different place. There was one point where I ended up with an extra stitch. I think I had forgotten to do the knit 2 together on the previous row, so I just did a knit 3 together at one point. It was right along the edge of the shawl, and I probably wouldn't even be able to point it out to you if I knew where it was, but there was a point where there was a knit 3 together, because there was an extra stitch, but I can't even find it right now. But it was on the edge of the shawl, so it's not really going to be seen, so I wasn't too concerned about it. But because I kind of pay attention as I'm knitting each section, I am using markers, so I know that between the stitch markers I have to do certain things, and I do pay attention to what's on the row below so that my yarn overs line up where they're supposed to be. So if the yarn over's not in the right spot, I know that I have to fix that. And I did put the yarn over in the wrong spot a couple of times. And that does happen when you're not paying attention, when you think you know the pattern and you just knit away and you find that, oops, you didn't know the pattern as well as you thought you did. And I'm done with the beads, but I still have not taken them out of my bag, because really the basement has been in such disarray. I haven't even had a place to put them, because I've pretty much boxed up a lot of the stuff that was in my craft room. And I probably am going to have to find a new place for my beads, because I'm accumulating a lot of beads. So that's my one work in progress. Like I said, I did work on the Inishbeg sweater briefly today, but not anything worth showing you. And all my other projects, my mom's socks, I did start my mom's socks. I think I said that I started them last week, but maybe I started them on Sunday. I think I did start them on Sunday, but I didn't get very far. I want to see if I used a size 1 needle, I think, but I want to try a 0 because I'm not real sure if I like the 1. So I'm going to start the second sock on a smaller needle and see if I like that better or worse, and then decide which needle I'm going to use, and hopefully I can make some progress on those socks this week. But I think my main focus is going to be the summer solstice shawl, because I'd like to get that done because of some of the projects that I have up and coming. Well, and speaking of up and coming, I might as well tell you what they are. I am planning on knitting the Henslow, and here is the yarn that I will be using for that. It is Hill Country Yarns, which I don't think is around anymore. I've mentioned Hill Country Yarns before. One of my coveted sock yarns that I love is the Hill Country Yarns Sweet Feet, because it's regular merino, and when you wear the socks, because of the heat of your feet, at least for me, my feet must get really hot, but the heat of my feet and being in my sneakers or whatever felts the bottom of the sock, and it makes the sock so soft. But this is the superfine superwash sock yarn in the salmon colorway, and the yarn itself has somewhat of a sheen to it. However, you can't really, I don't think you can really get that on the camera here or in the picture that I have on my Ravelry page. But it does have somewhat of a sheen to it. And to be honest, I would have thought, if I was just looking at this yarn, I would have thought that it had some nylon content or some bamboo or something. But it says it's 100% superwash merino wool, so I don't know how it gets its sheen, but there it is. It is a salmon colorway, and I think it's going to make a beautiful Henslow. So that is on the horizon. I'm probably not going to start the Henslow until I finish the summer solstice, because I just don't want to have too many projects on the needles. The next project that I'm going to start is I mentioned this about a month or so ago, is the Fiddle Knits Mystery Shawl Fantasia, which starts on August 9th. I think she had pre-orders for the yarn and the pattern, I want to say either the last couple weeks of June or the first part of July, and it just shipped out last week, and I got it. And this is the colorway that I got. It is the polka base in the sailing colorway, and it's blue again. I'm into the blues right now. I don't know why. I guess because I knit so much pink and green that I feel like I have to try and broaden my color palette. So, blue. So there's that, and it's the Fiddle Knits polka in the sailing colorway, and it's fiddleknits.com right there. And I actually got 2 skeins of this because I'm going to do the large version of the shawl. She's providing a large and a small version, and I decided I'm going to do the large version, so I got 2 skeins so I can do the larger version. And maybe I'll change my mind and just do the smaller one, but more than likely I'm going to do the large one, because the small one, and this one's only 400 yards of a superwash merino fingering sock weight. So that would be a fairly small shawlette. But I seem to like my shawls bigger, so I think I will do the larger one. But that's another one that's on the needles, or on the up and coming. Another up and coming is the Even Star. I ordered my yarn this week, and I'm so excited. I have a picture of it, and I'm going to show you, because it will be quite a while before I get my yarn. I ordered Unique Sheep's EOS in the strength colorway, and I'm getting lots of glare. I'm not sure how I'm going to show you, but you can check out the colorway. It starts at with a blackish gray, and it goes into this bright pink. And you probably can see it better on their website. You can go to the Unique Sheep and then go to the EOS colorway, the EOS yarn, and then there's a link for more pictures of that colorway. It is beautiful. It's got, I think it has silk. It's merino and silk, I believe. So my biggest thing is right now, I ordered the 6-ounce color, the 6-ounce gradient, but I don't know if I should start in the center with the gray and go to the pink on the outside, or start with the pink on the inside and go to the gray on the outside. So if you have an opinion on which way I should do it, let me know, because I am kind of not sure right now. I think it's going to look great both ways, but I probably won't even make a decision until I'm ready to cast it on, which won't be for a while. I ordered the yarn. I'm guessing it's probably going to be a 3 to 4 week delivery time, because I'm pretty sure that they dye it up after the order. I also ordered needles, because it's the pattern is written for a size 3 needle, which I'm just going to use the size 3 needle. I'm not going to worry about gauge or anything, because do you really need to worry about gauge on a lace shawl? I think it's mostly for making sure that you don't run out of yarn, but I'm going to have plenty of yarn. I also ordered, the needles that I ordered were the Hiya needles. I have not used Hiya before. I think I do have some Hiya that I purchased recently, but I haven't used them yet. But I did order some Hiya. I ordered the number 3 double points to start the center of the shawl, and then I ordered a 16-inch cable, and then I ordered a 24-inch cable, and then I ordered a 40-inch cable. Because I have the 32-inch from Knit Picks, so if I wanted to go from a 24 to a 32, I can just use my Knit Picks for that short time. But I definitely needed a 40-inch cable. And we were talking today at Knit Club, and I think there's also a 47-inch cable out there as well. So I might have to look into that, because I know the Even Star is, I want to say it's like 6 to 8 feet, it's got to be, maybe 6 to 7 feet in diameter, maybe, I can't remember how wide it is in diameter. Let me see if I can, I've got the page up over here, but it's pretty big. I don't know if it says. It's a wide shawl, so that's in diameter. So the circumference of it is going to be even bigger. So 40 inches is still going to be a lot of bunched up on the needles, but we'll see. Maybe I'll try and find a 47-inch. The Hiya, I don't think they had a 40-inch. And I did order it directly from their website. Tammy, the proverbial knitter, talked about ordering directly from Hiya, and then it goes out to some kind of a Shoptron or something like that. So I don't know where they're coming from, but I did order those sizes. And they'll be coming. And I also ordered a bunch of beads. It calls for a I think it's 3,000, I think it's size 8 seed beads. Now, I didn't order 3,000 beads. I ordered 4 different colors of beads so that I could see which color I wanted to do. I think I ordered a silver bead, I ordered a crystal bead, and I want to say that I ordered 2 pinkish red beads. So I'm hoping that between the beads I just ordered, the beads I already have, I will be able to figure out which color to use, and that will probably also help me decide whether I'm going to start with the pink on the middle and work to the gray, or start with the gray and work to the pink. So I will have to wait until I get those beads and the yarn to really make a decision on all of that. So that's what I've got coming up. I've got a lot of stuff coming up. It's crazy. So I've got 3 shawls. Now the Even Star, I'm not going to start for a while. I'm not going to probably start that until at least Rhinebeck. Maybe a week or so before, depending on how much I get done between now and then. I want to start my knit swirl sweater. Hopefully before Rhinebeck, because I think it would be a great car knitting project, but we'll see how that goes. There's definitely no way I'm casting that on in the car. So I've got a lot of stuff that is coming up that I want to get done between now and the end of the year. Not to mention the dishcloths that I want to get knit up for Christmas gifts, and who knows what else I'm going to work on. So lots coming up. So that's everything that's coming up. I want to talk a little bit about my spinning this week. I did finish my fiber optic, and here it is. It is wonderful. I can't believe how it turned out. I just love it. I can't believe how wonderful it is. I did have a chance to wash it and thwack it, and I just can't say enough about this fiber. It turned out beautifully. beautifully. This was done as a single, and then I Navajo plied it. And let me see if I can try and get all the colors in there at one time. And I Navajo plied it. It was a gradient from bitter lime to rose. And this is the first time that I have spun a fiber optic gradient. And I am truly impressed. The fiber prep was awesome. It spun up beautifully. It's thin. It's lovely. I can't wait to knit with it because I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. I think it's one of my best plying jobs to date, which is amazing. I mean, I guess you can only get better as you spin. So it's just wonderful. But I truly think that the spinning and the plying have a lot to do with the fiber prep. I really, really do. I'm making a mess here. Because I don't think that I could have spun it as nicely if the fiber was not prepped well. I don't know how she does the blending of the colors that are so seamlessly. It's going to be amazing to knit it up because the colors from lime to the green to the teal to the blue to the darker purple to the lighter purple to the rose, it's just amazing. It's amazing. I can't wait to see her at Rhinebeck because I am sure to pick up some more fiber from Rhinebeck. I have one more braid of the gradient in the merino silk. So I have a lot. I have a lot to spin, but I have one more braid of this that I can spin up before Rhinebeck if I feel the need. But I'm very excited about actually getting to knit it up. I'm very happy how it turned out. I counted my yards, and I think I want to say that I had 220, I think I had 220 wraps on my Nitty Knotty. Let me see if I can jump over to Ravelry really, really, really quick. Oh, and it's going to be down further. Just hang tight. $234 wraps on the Nitty Knotty, and it was 36 inches, so that's 568 yards. Is that right? No, 468 yards. So 468 yards, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So there it is. It's quite thin. It's definitely a fingering weight. I didn't do a wraps per inch kind of thing, but it's definitely fingering weight, and I can't wait to find a shawl to knit with it because it's going to be absolutely lovely. So that was what I finished with spinning, and I started something else too. I was trying to decide what I was going to do, and I couldn't decide. I sat there and looked at my stash and tried to pick something and said, oh, I want to spin this, but I wanted to spin this, and then I want to spin this. I wanted to spin everything. I just couldn't make a decision because there were so many things I wanted to spin. Then I was watching the Knit Girls, and their fiber for their, I think it's their Expand the Horizons, this month is Rambouillet. And I had just received my Into the World shipment for July. Yep, July. And it was the Rambouillet fiber in the Captain Tight Pants. Yeah, Captain Tight Pants. And I don't know who that is, but I like the fiber anyway. And so I decided that I was going to spin this because I couldn't decide, and I figured might as well spin something that everybody else is spinning because I really didn't think I was going to like this fiber, because it's one of those springy, squishy, downy fibers that like the one from the fiber study that I did a few months ago that I don't even remember what its name was because I hated it so much. And I know that Curry is probably yelling at the screen right now saying, oh, it was this. I want to say that it was a Cormo. That's what it was. Yeah, didn't like that. But this reminds me of the Cormo because it's very springy and boingy, and I was very nervous about it. But I have been spinning it, and I'm not going to lift up my wheel over here. Just know that it's there. I'll take a picture of it and I'll show you. But I was very nervous about it. I decided to spin it straight, or split it into two straight down the center, because I wanted to do something similar to what I did with the Wool Gatherings Polworth that I finished spinning a few weeks ago that I showed you. And I did finally wash and thwack that, but I put it away so I don't have it to show you. So I did want to kind of keep the colors mostly together, but have some barb pulling. So I split it straight down the center. Well, let me tell you, this fiber was extremely wide. This is half. This is a fourth. So you can see the difference in the size of the braid. Okay, so this is half of the fiber, and this is a fourth that I took out. Now let me show you how wide this piece of fiber, oops. Let me show you how wide this piece of fiber is. My throat's kind of dry because the AC's on. But look how wide this is, okay? This is half, okay? This is half of the original. So it was twice as wide as this for half. That was too much for me to work with. So I ended up splitting the half into half again. And then I'm just going to spin them end to end. So this is half, and this is a fourth. So this, to me, the fourth was much more manageable than trying to spin across this huge, I mean, this is 4 inches wide. And trying to spin across and then back and back, which I don't really do anyway, but it was still difficult. This is much more manageable to me. I tried doing some drafting with it first, and I just didn't like how it was spinning, how I was having to really grip the fiber to hold on to it when it was drafted, so I didn't want to have to draft it. That's why I decided to split it in half again. Now, if you want longer color repeats, this might not be the way to go, but if you're not extremely concerned about how long your color repeats are, this might be an option for you if you're spinning this up and having trouble with it. I am liking the fiber more than I liked the Cormo. I think mostly because I figured out how to spin it. The fact that I'm not drafting it has helped. I'm kind of doing a little bit of a combination short forward draw and a backwards draw, but not a long, like a kind of a combination of the two. I'm kind of allowing the wheel to pull in the fiber a little bit more, but I'm still keeping the twist in front of my fingers, not into the fiber supply. So right now, it took me a good bit to figure out how to spin it. You see how much pink is on here, and you see how much pink is on here? Well, that's about how much it took me to figure it out. Actually, it took me a little bit longer than that, because the pink it took me that long to figure out that this was way too wide. And then it took me a little bit more than that to figure out. I think I was into the blue when I finally figured out. I was into this part of the blue when I finally figured out how this fiber needed to be spun, which makes me think that from now on, before I start splitting my fiber, excuse the bend, I'm going to pick up some yarn that fell on the floor. Before I start splitting my fiber into pieces for either 1-ply or 2-ply or 3-ply or whatever, I need to take off probably a bit. You know, I don't know how much I would take off, maybe about not quite a half an ounce, but probably a good chunk, probably at least this much, to start playing with how I'm going to spin it, because I haven't done that. I don't, in the past, I haven't, you know, played with different methods of spinning stuff until I've actually gotten ready to spin it, so I kind of feel like I have to make it be what it wants to be, or make it be what I want it to be right off the bat. But that doesn't happen. You know, sometimes you have to try different techniques. Plus, I kept adjusting my wheel. Do I need more bobbin tension? Do I need less bobbin tension? Do I need a smaller whirl? Do I need a larger whirl? I mean, I kept switching it around, and I finally found the best thing for me. And I'm probably going to get another fingering weight yarn, which is fine with me because that's what I like. I like fingering weight. So I'm planning on spinning these two separate. This is half. I'm going to split this when I get this. I'm going to split this in half and have it in fourths again. I have almost finished. This is what I have left of the first ounce. So it was a 4 ounce bump or whatever it was in the bag, and it was just kind of shoved in there. But here's half, here's the other half, and here's 1/4, what's left of the 1/4. It's spinning up quite quickly because I started this on the 1st, August 1st. That was the spin along with the Knit Girl started August 1st. And it just so happened that August 1st was the day that I finished. No, actually I finished plying. No, I think I did finish plying it on August 1st. I finished it up. I just had a little bit left to go of the fiber optic. And then I started plying, or I started this right on the wheel right away. So it's coming along. I like it so far. I wasn't sure at the beginning if I was going to like it because I was really nervous about the downy quality of it, but I figured it out. So that is an accomplishment for me. So that's my spinning. I have not worked anymore on the alpaca. I didn't even bring it down here. I do want to get back to spinning on the alpaca, but for some reason I wasn't feeling the love for that right now, so I just kind of went on to something else. I do want to again mention the Anything Goes swap for August. Anything that you finish in August qualifies. Oh, I was hearing some music and I was like, what is that? It's the dryer. My musical dryer. Anything goes for August. Anything that you want to, that you're knitting. If you finished it in August, post a picture for the prizes. That's for the August cowl. I haven't posted the prizes for that yet because they're all boxed up. Hopefully I will get into those boxes this week and be able to post those on the thread, and everybody will know what they're trying to win. So let's talk about my From the Stash. This week my From the Stash has been in my stash for a very long time. I couldn't even tell you exactly how long it's been there because it's probably been there close to as long as I've been knitting. And it is Silky Wool, Elizabeth Lavoie. I think that's how you say her name. Elizabeth Lavoie, Silky Wool. It is one of my favorite yarns. Now, I've only knit with it once, but there's just something about this yarn that I love. I have enough for a sweater of this. It's the color number 5. And it is 65% wool, 35% silk. Each skein is 50 grams and it's 175 meters. And the suggested needle size is a size 6. And I love this yarn. There's something about it that I love. It is a cabled 4-ply, I think. I think it's a cabled ply. I'm not real sure I know about the ply as much, but it kind of looks like it's a cable ply. I don't know if it's a 4-ply or if it's a 3-ply, and I don't think it will tell me. You might be able to find that on the website, but I really like this yarn. I have made one sweater with it, and I believe that I bought this yarn before I bought the other yarn that I made the other sweater with. I made the Happy sweater, and you can see that on my project page. But I bought this yarn, gosh, I want to say it was back in 2007 or 2008, probably 2008, because that's really when I got really into buying the nicer wools. But when I bought this yarn, I bought it for a specific sweater, and I still love this sweater, and I'm still planning on knitting this sweater with this yarn. And here's the sweater. It's also an Elizabeth Lavoie pattern, and it is called the High-Low. And I love this sweater. I think the only reason that I haven't knit this sweater yet is because there's a little bit of weirdness in the pattern. And when I say weirdness, when I'm reading a pattern, a lot of times I like to kind of skim over a pattern just to kind of see how it's going to work. Now, there are times, even myself, as I think I'm a pretty advanced knitter. I mean, I guess I wouldn't say advanced knitter, but I'm an intermediate knitter, and I kind of know a lot about patterns. And a lot of people call me and ask me questions about patterns. And occasionally, patterns don't make sense. Sometimes it's the way it's written. Sometimes it's the way it's worded. Sometimes it's just a very bad, poorly written pattern. But a lot of times, I don't know which one it is until I actually try to go and knit it. Because it just makes more sense when you're actually doing the knitting rather than trying to read it and imagine it in your head. But I was reading this, I think I was going to start this sweater at some point, and I was reading the pattern, and I'm like, what? What do they mean by that? Now, I'm sure that it is one of those things where it makes a lot more sense when you have the needles in your hand. But at the time, I was getting ready to do something. I'm not sure what it was that I was going to do, but I wasn't ready to deal with trying to figure it out. So I didn't start the sweater, but I have had it in my queue for a long time, and I really still love it. I love the yarn, I love the pattern, and I'm going to make the sweater someday. But I have to be ready to read the pattern and really understand what they're trying to do here. It is a difficulty level of intermediate. The sizes are medium and large for a chest measurement of 41 or 45 inches. You need 7 or 8 skeins of silky wool. You need a US 6 and a US 4 to meet gauge. And I think it's going to be a very lovely sweater. I just have to take the time to read it. This book has a number of cool sweaters. This one I kind of like. It doesn't include the hat, but I'm not sure I like the long length of it. that look just doesn't look good on me because I have big hips, but it's a very cool, intricate pattern on the cables. I have 4 of these Elizabeth Lavoie. Here we go with the dehumidifier again. I have 4 of the Elizabeth Lavoie pattern books because they use this silky wool quite a bit. I'm trying to see if there's any other patterns in this book that I think I would really knit. Possibly this one. But again, I'm not so sure about the cropped, and I would think I would want the sweater to be a little bit more fitted than how it's fitting this particular model. But I like the texture of the sweater. But really, I bought this book specifically for this pattern, and I was okay with that. I liked this pattern enough to buy it specifically for this pattern, which is the high-low pattern. And I really do like the sweater a lot. So that is for my stash this week. And I'm going to try and show you yarn each week from my stash so you can get a better look at it. I can tell you a little bit about why I like it or what I bought it for. Most of the sweater quantity of yarn that's in my stash, I have specific sweaters picked out for it. But a lot of the fingering weight and sock weight yarns, they're just yarns that I liked because like you can buy one skein of sock weight yarn and figure out what you're going to do with it later. So that's this week's from the stash. Let me know if you like silky wool and what you have liked to knit with it, or what you would like to knit with it. I do have this color as well as a must be somewhere, as well as a light blue. Oh, it's down here. It's like I would say it's a colonial blue. So I got that at Stitches last year because the price for a bag of 10 was just unbelievable. I couldn't pass it up. So that's from my stash. I do want to remind you about the charity this week. Lynn Zim is doing the Make-A-Wish. I sent my donation in, I think it was Thursday. I haven't gotten my pattern coupon yet, but that's alright. I know she'll get to it when she gets to it. I'm not in a huge hurry for it. Because I have so many other things coming up on the needles. But I will have that linked in the show notes. She's well over her goal of $10,000. When I made my donation, I think she was over $11,000. I think. And also Vicky from the Dragonfly Source podcast, she is doing the Susan G. Komen walk. And I think she told me when she was doing it, but I can't remember. But I will link to that also in the show notes, and I also sent in my donation for that as well. And she was trying, I think she was trying to raise, whatever she was trying to raise, she's also met her goal too. But still, please go and support them with their charities because they're both awesome charities to support. And because I am on a yarn diet, so to speak, because I don't want to go over 100 miles of yarn, I'm taking some of my yarn spending money and putting it into these charities instead, because I have plenty of yarn. I don't need to put any more yarn in my cabinets that it's going to sit there for years. So I know that if I have the money in my account, in my spending fun account, it'll just get spent. So I am sending it off to these wonderful charities instead, because like I said, if it's in my account and it's in my fun spending account, I'll just spend it. So why not just spread the love? So I will have links to both of those charities in my show notes this week. And that's it. That's it for this week. I am going to do some more knitting this afternoon. and maybe some spinning too. Watch more of the Olympics. I want to go back and watch the gymnast all-round finals, because I tried to watch it on Thursday during the day at work, but our internet speed at work is very slow, and the download speed was very choppy, and I couldn't watch it. And I want to go back. It's all online, so I can go back and watch it. So I might try and do that this afternoon, although my computer might be busy doing the podcast, but we'll see. But I am going to knit, and I am going to spin, and maybe I'm going to do the same tomorrow. I'm not sure. But I will let you go, and you can go watch your next podcast and do some more knitting, and I hope you enjoy your week, and I hope your knitting blooms this week, and I will talk to you next Saturday. So, bye for now.